Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Now this one's gonna be a little bit different. I haven't made a military related video probably since Steven's BMT graduation, which was over a year ago, or just about a year ago. So I decided I'd come on here and make one today, and it's one that I've had to wait to make this because it involves a lot of my experience, and that is what to expect along with pros and cons with military wives living overseas. Now, Steven got stationed in Germany in February, and I didn't join him until like the very end of July, pretty much August is when we moved into our apartment here. So I have been experiencing this new life in Germany for the last 4 months, almost 4 months now, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about just my experience. You know, whatever I experience may or may not happen to you. I just wanted to sort of give you a little piece of advice of what to expect. And overall, I mean, the pros obviously, at least for me, definitely weigh the cons, but I thought this would be a really good video because I know I would want to find something like this, or I think I researched, I try to research a lot or YouTube a lot, different videos of what to expect, but there aren't very many. So I hope you guys find the information I'm about to give you useful, and I hope that it helps. So I'm going to start off with some cons, so we can end on a happier note. So for my first con with someone living overseas, it's obvious, it's the most obvious one, and that's loneliness. Being in Germany, it's been great, and I love being here. I've been loving this new experience. I'm definitely that person that can't stay put. I like change, and a lot of people aren't like that, but that's what worked in my favor with coming here. Is I already like change, I already like travel, so it wasn't difficult in that perspective. But it can get very, very lonely, especially because, again, you're new, you don't know anyone here. I did meet a couple of Steven's coworkers, but again, it's like they're not my friends, they're his friends. And because, you know, of the language barrier, which is another point to my list, it's not easy to make friends here. I think it would definitely be different if he were stationed somewhere like the UK, where they all speak English. That would definitely be a lot easier. But loneliness is something that I didn't like. That's probably the thing that I've had to adjust with the most. Just keeping my head on straight and getting out of the house, and, you know, when you have so much time, it's sort of hard to, it sounds funny, but it's sort of hard to plan out your day because you don't really know what to do. Like you can go to the gym and it'll take you maybe an hour, 2 hours, like however long it takes you to the gym, but that's like the small fraction amount of time that you have from the whole day, you know, when you're spending it alone, when your significant other is working. But when they aren't working, when Steven's not working, things are great. We'll go out, like even just hanging out around the house isn't bad. I don't mind it as long as he's here. But yeah, loneliness is definitely a really big factor in moving. I'm unemployed, and the reason that I don't have a job, or I'm not going to get a job, is because, you know, we live in Europe, and because Steven's schedule isn't, it's not a 9 to 5. So basically, he'll work 12-hour shifts, and they'll schedule him like 3 days on, 2 days off, 2 days off, 3 days on. Like, it doesn't matter what day of the week it is, but that's how a schedule goes. So if I were to get a job, it would be a lot harder for us to travel. So that's another thing, is if I did get a job, it'd probably be a way for me to make friends. But I honestly rather travel and have that, I'd rather not that conflict with our travel plans, because we're only going to be in Europe for 3 years, and although that sounds like a long time, it's really not a long time, and we want to make the most of the time we have here because we would not be here if it weren't for the military. Okay, I just had to go help Steven with something, so I sort of lost my train of thought. But yeah, you guys basically get the idea. Something I do suggest is, if you're close with your family like I am, is definitely FaceTime your family a lot. You know, I was really hesitant about doing that at first. Luckily with the time change, it's really not that bad, especially because, again, I don't work. So if I have to stay up late to talk to them, I will. But I do make time and I talk to them, and honestly, when I'm feeling really down, just having that FaceTime call with, whether, you know, it's my mom or my mother-in-law or my sister or my cousin, I'm really close to a lot of my family, so just talking to them really makes me feel just so much better. Going outside, taking a walk. Oh my god, he's calling me again. 1 second. As I was saying, I like to sort of walk around our neighborhood, explore and find new little coffee shops. That's probably like one of my favorite things to do, is go inside of a coffee shop and either listen to an audiobook or just read a physical book or work on my laptop, just do something, because being indoors all day, oh my god, that's just not good for you. You should, and you know, make time to go outside, so I definitely try and do that. And we just got a puppy, so she's definitely, I can't even go brush my teeth now, but she's definitely has kept my mind off things, and I love her so much, and I'm really glad that we got her. I'll probably bring her in towards the end of my video because right now she's chilling with her papa. But yeah, loneliness, that's probably the biggest one. It definitely takes the biggest toll on you, and if you don't find ways to keep yourself busy, and if you aren't self-disciplined, then you will crawl into a really deep hole, just a lot of sadness and depression. And I know that's deep with what I said, but it's true. I mean, there's no one here. It's just you and your significant other, and when they're around, everything's great, you know, you guys are together. But once they leave to work and you're just at home, you gotta find what makes you happy, whether that's going back to school, continuing school, picking up a hobby. Just, you gotta find something that works for you. So loneliness, definitely something to expect when you move overseas. Now the second one, like I said earlier, is definitely the language barrier. That's been pretty tough. German is not an easy language to learn, but I can't lie, I haven't really been trying to learn. I think I only know maybe 3 words like by heart, but language barrier has been really tough where we live, just because, you know, I just always feel rude speaking to them in English when like having them cater to me. I don't like that. It just, that part sucks. But I try to figure out what I can. It's such a tough language. But that, again, that depends on where you're stationed. If you're stationed somewhere like the UK, then you're fine. You speak English, they speak English. It's totally easy. But that's probably been the toughest part as far as like getting around and reading signs, making sure you don't park somewhere you're not supposed to park, and then having your car get towed. Like, just all those little things. Or like even going to the grocery store. If we don't go on base, we'll go to, we have like a local grocery store called Globus. We have a couple others too, but that's like the big main one that we like to go to. And like having to search up all these words in German just to find things that we need. But definitely consider that. I will say that is a con, but not, I don't want it to be like in a rude way, but it's been hard. And we've been trying to figure it out. I mean, we've been doing good so far. So language barrier has definitely been difficult. So for my third one, this may not be true for everyone. this is again part of my cons list, but being away from my family has probably been one of the hardest things that I've ever done or had to do. I'm very, very close with my family. I think leaving, the actual, you know, process of leaving before I actually got here was the toughest part for me. It was so hard that morning that I woke up. I was so sick to my stomach. I was obviously so excited to be here and finally be with Steven, you know, finally be with my husband. But that morning, oh my God, like, I just remember waking up. I had no sleep, little to no sleep, and I just wanted to vomit. I was so nervous. I think it was just the process of, like, it's not like I was leaving and I was gonna see Steven in an hour. I was leaving. I had a layover for a night. I had to stay somewhere a night in Baltimore and then hop back on a plane the next morning. And it was like a 10-hour flight and then reach Steven. So it wasn't just like oh, I'm gonna fly to LA and it's just an hour. Like, it was just the whole process. Like, I was gonna be by myself, and I'm not afraid to fly by myself. I've done it before. When I came to visit him in Germany the first time, that wasn't the issue. It was like, I'm leaving. Like, this is it. I'm leaving my family. And I'm trying not to get emotional because I didn't think I would. But yeah, I'm really close to my family, and that's been the toughest part. Trying not to get emotional. So you definitely have to consider that. But I do, you know, FaceTime them a lot, like I said. But if you are close to your family, being away, it's gonna be really hard, and having to miss out on holidays and birthdays. This is my first Christmas and Thanksgiving that I'm not going to be with my family. But being with Steven, I mean, I'm glad that I have the most wonderful husband to help me through all of it. And same with, you know, he's really close to his family too, with his mom, his sister, his grandpa. So we're both on that same boat. So I'm glad that we at least have each other. And now we have Penelope, so it'll be like our first holiday together as a little family, even though we're away from the rest of our family. Okay, so for my last one on this one, expenses. Because I don't work, I was not that wasn't the plan. My plan was that I was gonna work back home. I had my own business. I was an eyelash technician, and I thought I was gonna be able to do that here, but things got complicated, so we decided to not do that. If it did, I don't know if this would be as big of a factor as it is, but I, you know, honestly didn't really know. I didn't really have an idea of just how expensive things really were. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I did make a lot of money when I lived back home, so spending it was never really an issue. Like, I never really thought twice about something when I purchased something that I needed. Things are just so expensive here. The exchange rate, our US dollars are not worth nearly as much as the euro. So anytime that you buy something, if you buy something in euro, say you spend like $25, what it really costs is probably $28, $29, which doesn't sound like a big difference, but that keeps adding up, and the exchange rate will change daily. So something else, by the way, if the lighting starts to change, it's because the sun is going down. So I'm trying to film this video as fast as I can, but I want to make sure you guys have all the information. We try really hard not to shop at the commissary because, you know, everything is imported, so everything's just double what it would usually be, and you leave the commissary buying maybe like 5 things and you've spent like $100. Like, it's ridiculous. And we really only go to the commissary to buy like American products. Like, if you want to get our like Quaker Oats or a specific brand of cereal, like that's really the only time that we go to the commissary, or at least we try. Like, that's the only time. But yeah, things get really expensive, and you guys, you and your significant other, you and your husband or your wife just really have to budget. and we try really hard to budget every month. It's usually on food. Like, food is what we spend the most money on, but just really be cautious about that and your spending, because there have been times where we're like, how the hell did we spend this much money in this little amount of time? Try to minimize the spending from the commissary if you can. All right, now we're moving on to the pros. We're gonna end it on a happier note, and the first one on my list is obviously travel. Traveling has been one of the best experiences living in Europe. It's like, I just can't even believe how many places are just so close to us. And like, the fact that we can drive to Paris within like 3 hours is absolutely insane to me. It's been one of the best experiences ever, because me and Steven love to travel. One of our first trips ever together, this is like maybe not even a year after we graduated from high school, we went all the way to Singapore. That was my first time ever leaving the country, you guys. And like, we are just such travel bugs. Like, we love it. And that's not everyone, but that's definitely a pro when it comes to living overseas. You get to experience something you would never be able to experience back in the States. Like, you can't just pick up and go to Italy and then go to France the next week, and obviously if you're already there, but like, it gets expensive traveling that far distance. But when you're just so close like we are, like, where did we go? We went to London maybe a month ago, and our tickets for Ryanair were like $29, and I think it might have been less than that. $29 to travel to London, like, that's insane. So just to put into perspective, like, we're just so close to so many things, and I'm just so excited for the Christmas markets that are about to go down in Germany, because Germany is known for their Christmas markets, and our little town Kaiserslautern is already putting up their Christmas tree. I am just so excited for the holidays, like, getting to experience the seasons in another country. Oh my god, like, fall was beautiful out here. I can't wait for winter. It's getting cold enough to the point where it's starting to snow just a little bit. Like, anytime it rains, they're like little ice, they're little snowflakes coming down, but hasn't been anything major yet. But oh my god, you guys, definitely the number one thing about living in Europe is that living overseas, you will never get that experience again. Like, unless you're just that good and you just have moved on your own, like, scratch the military, you just moved to Europe and did that. Like, I mean, kudos to you. But a lot of people don't just pack up their lives and move to another country. So this experience has been incredible. Germany is really big, so we have a lot to explore even in just our own country that we're living in right now. This is the one I was looking forward to the most, and that is getting a fresh start. Honestly, like I said earlier, I am someone that cannot stay in one place for too long. But yeah, I wanted to get out there. I wanted to explore, see what was, I wanted to start a new life, me and Steven. And it was going to be different because it was just going to be me and him for the first time by ourselves, which was something that we've never had. So I didn't really know what to expect, but you're away from people from high school, like, you're away from having to run into stuff like that. You're in a new city, you're in a new country, like, having that fresh start, no one knows you. Like, a lot of people, they look for that, and definitely been a really good experience. But yeah, that's something to think about too. Like, moving overseas, you get a fresh start. You get to meet new people. I mean, this is all depending where you are, but you get to meet new people, you get to experience different cultures, you get to try new food. Like, it's just so different. It's not like home. And it's not like home. It never will be like home. And I don't think I've gotten homesick. I just miss my family, but I don't actually miss Brentwood. That's where we lived, and I don't miss that. I miss California. I miss certain things about California, but I don't miss, like, our little town. I do miss Target. I can't lie about that. I miss Target. For my third one, I put experience, But I feel like I pretty much covered that with everything I just said. So we're gonna move on to getting out of your comfort zone. And a lot of people don't like to do that. I know, I thought I did. I thought I was pretty out of my comfort zone. Like I was that person where I'm like, yeah, I love getting out of my comfort zone and yada yada. I didn't realize how much I was still in my little bubble, like until we got here. So being here has definitely got me out of my comfort zone. It has been so, it feels so liberating. Like once you do it, you feel so good. Like this is an experience in your life where you grow. It doesn't matter how old you are. You grow just so much as a person. You find things out about yourself that you've never known. You try things that you never would try before. Like, because in order to be happy, in order to be okay with a situation like this, you can't stay in your bubble. You can't expect your partner to do and be there for everything that you do. Like, it's not gonna work like that. And I've enjoyed, you know, I've always been independent. This is another stepping stone for my adult life, growing up, really being on your own. I mean, with your husband, like living your guys' lives, like it's an incredible feeling. But this has really taught me to grow up and like just get my head out of my bubble and just expand my horizons, I guess you can say. So getting out of your comfort zone is, you know, you can consider it a pro, a con. I consider it a pro. I think it's so good for you to do something like that, and to say that you did everything you did, including living in another country. It's just, you build so much character being here. So for my last one, I pretty much covered it with, again, everything I said. I feel like with all my pros, they all tie together like a puzzle. Like they all come together. And this one is learning new things about yourself. Like I said, I've learned a lot of new things about myself. One of the things is I've learned that I'm a lot more capable of just self-discipline. You know, we don't give ourselves enough credit half the time. We're really hard on ourselves a lot. I didn't start seeing a real change in myself until Steven left to basic training. So that's when I really started to see and figure out and learn new things about myself. But especially moving here, there's something about the fall season where it is my favorite. It's become my favorite season, but it is also one of the worst seasons in the sense that I feel like I go through a lot of challenges mentally, but in the end, I have to remember that whatever I'm facing, whether it's real or whether it's in my head, as long as I overcome it, you just see so much change and growth, and you remember that feeling. Like we're in this season now, we're in fall, and I just remember how I felt last fall and where I was and just how many of my fears I overcame. And that is why it's one of my favorite seasons of the year, and I just learned to love it so much. I remember when the leaves started to change color, I was like getting all emotional because I'm like, oh my god, like I remember where I was at this time last year, and I was so scared and I was so lost, and I still feel that way now, but in a different sense. Like I'm facing a new challenge in my life. And yeah, so you learn a lot of new things about yourself, and I will consider that a good thing always. It's always a good thing in my point of view. But yeah, that's my list, and I really don't know what else to say. I don't have much else to say. Maybe I'll make an update in a year, or like towards the middle of next year, see if my things change or if things add up. Let me know what you guys think about this video, and if it was useful information. I would like your guys' feedback, honestly. Let me know what you guys think. Go ahead and give me your stories. I'll link my Instagram down in the description box too if you guys want to privately message me and just talk to me about your stories. I want to hear you guys' stories. There's something about the military community where it's very tight-knit, and you just feel like family, and I want to feel that way with you guys, especially all you military wives out there. Like, sometimes that's all we have, is we have each other. So go ahead, give me some feedback. I'd really like that. If you want to privately DM me, I will link my Instagram below. But other than that, I am done with this video. The sun is going down. It's 4:10. Yeah, the sun goes down really early. By like 4:30, it's down. So I made this video just in time. So I'm very happy about that. Alright guys, so I will see you on my next video. Bye.